Get her again, Starlight. Get her again. Get Marjorie Taylor Greene again. And don't let her get up. So we left off last week with Homelander saying that he was going to destroy his humanity, essentially. He was saying that he needs to go home to do this. So that's exactly what he did. Now, bitch, when Homelander came... when he came from this elevator, I was like, y'all know that none of y'all are leaving here alive, right? Like, everybody in this room. Like, the way he came in there, you know, he had this cake in his hands telling them to eat it, and they smiling like they have a choice anyway. But what's this smiling for? Like, I was just like, oh my gosh, is this a shit cake? Like, what are they eating? Are they about to be vomiting blood or something? I was like, what are they eating? Marty asked, he kept dead naming Homelander too. Like, he kept calling him John. And I was like, bro, y'all don't want to live. Like, how many times does Homelander have to correct you? Like, I promise, I wouldn't have said shit. First, I wouldn't be corrected because I wouldn't have said shit. I wouldn't be there. Anyway, I'm not working for Vought. Like, that. Let's be clear on that. But you know what I mean? Like, he was sitting there like, John. Like, it was 3 times. Was it 3 times? Like, bro, Homelander don't even have to tell me something one time, bro. What are you talking about? Girl, this nasty V shit crawling in Butcher's back. I was like, oh my, making him hallucinate and shit. I was like, oh my God. And honestly, this is one of my worst fears, knocking my big ass head on this metal in the shower and falling out. And it's just like, I'm already giving coconut head. Like, it's giving like, like it's giving very much big metal tower bell, like big bell in the forehead. That's what I'm giving. So the whole entire world would hear my skull ringing if I ever fell like Butcher did. So I was just like, girl, get up. That's what Rebecca was telling his ass. I was like, okay, next scene, girl. Huey, in my opinion, needs to be way more suspicious of this woman. Like, I am so serious. Anyway, they're talking about, you know, taking his dad off of life support. Of course, Huey ain't having any of that, and we see what he's up to try and solve it later on. Starlight basically comes to Brian and says, hey, I'm gonna go into the streets and rally people for this bill as Starlight. Like, I'm gonna go into the streets, but I just need to make sure that you help me finish what you started, and we put Vought into the ground. Womp womp, so much for that by the end of the episode. So much for that. Let me tell y'all something. Colin here is so sexy. He's fine. I don't care what y'all talk about. He's fine. This scene started with him damn near naked. And I was like, let me rewind this a few more times to see what's going on. My gay ass. Anyway, either way, I was like, bro, Frenchie, you just need to get out this nigga's bed, bro. Like, I'm so serious. I am so, you need to get out of this nigga's bed. Like, Colin described the way that his family was murdered. And I was like, oh, I'm like, Frenchie, this is terrible. Frenchie, this is terrible. Like, Colin's describing everything and Frenchie twitching and shit, fidgeting in bed, trying to hide them burns on his ankle. Girl, if you don't get, you'll get your ashy ankles out this bed, out Colin's bed. It was terrible. You need to get up. This was the part that we find out that Firecracker is doing a show right across the street from the Starlight House or whatever. And I was like, yeah, this is going to be good. This is going to be good, girl. Here, I love when Sister Sage was like, I find you repulsive in a way that's difficult to quantify, and I'm fucking amazing at quantifying. Oh my God, the deep. And it's like deep. Even if you weren't a creep, and even if Sage actually likes you for real, it would still be annoying for you to be doing all this, like, winking and flirting while we trying to work in front of everybody, and it was just a one-night stand. Like, bro, be cool. Like, damn, you could take me in the closet. We could do something, you know what I mean? Like, when nobody, but like all this flirting and all drooling all over the Vought table when we in front of everybody, it's like, bro, shut the fuck up. But I mean, like I said, would be if the Deep wasn't a creep. You see what I'm saying? So Sage then gives Firecracker the big finish. This is what she calls it, right? Big finish for her event, aka this is clearly dirt on Starlight, right? And then Firecracker responds with, you know, when I first met you, I thought you were kind of uppity, but you're one of the good ones. And I said, Miss Taylor, like, and I'm not talking about Swift, I'm talking about Green. Miss Taylor Green, you need to sit your ass down. Sage pretended not to clock all that macro aggression, what the fuck, but seeing her response, I was like, yeah, Sage definitely has plans for each and every one of these bitches. I feel like Sage got plans for all you bitches. So, and we see it clearly in this episode. Starlight here was just like, F Butcher. Honestly, I say F Butcher too. Like, he's not even remotely likable to me most times, but whatever. MM was like, we need him, whatever. So the Vault Lab people are sitting here eating this damn cake, and I'm telling you, by this point in the episode, I was just like, y'all are going to be vomiting up your own bones. Like, I thought that I thought that he was in there, or something was in that cake, and that's just going to make them just curdle from the inside out. But Homelander calls Frank over, and I was like, okay, what's going on here? What's going on here? He calls Frank over, and he was like, babe, you tried to turn me into burnt toast. How about you get your ass into this oven? And I was like, oh my God. And it was so many excuses coming from Frank. I don't know, like, it's really the arrogance of these people who you know that you spent your how many years torturing Homelander. It's the arrogance to come in here knowing that he has superpowers and everything, talking about, oh, I was just doing my job. Oh, I was just doing my job. That was the excuses that they was giving, and that was Frank was giving. And it's just like, okay, and your job was to burn a child alive? Like, who knows how many times you did it? And he felt everything, which you clearly knew because he was fucking screaming, like, get out my face. He felt everything. Now, there were quick flashes when Homelander was talking about his experience, and of course I paused it to get a better look. They were cooking this boy. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? Them things is glowing in the back, bitch. Sorry. Them bitches is glowing in the back, bitch. Like, they really turned the oven on. Like, the stove is on, bitch. I'm sorry. All you need was some good old Lowry's, girl. Some seasoning. Okay, we're done. Girl, Homelander told Frank to step in that damn oven. And the thing is, it's like, Frank only gets to experience this one time. You know, Homelander had to do this multiple times. So, but I mean, he's sitting there. Frank is no longer Frank, essentially. Frank has turned into a roasted Frank on an oven rack. It's a Frank. Do you see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? A Frank, a hot dog Frank. You know what I'm saying? I am dying. Huey lies to Kimiko to get A-Train so he can get Compound V or whatever. And I agree with Kimiko. Maybe you should let that man die. Like, we already seen how complicated and messed up V can make things. Like, what if you make all this shit worse? But whatever, he asks A-Train to go get the shit. All the doses are apparently locked up in Homelander's apartment. And Huey said that after A-Train does this, they're good. And I'm just like, that's why I can't stand Huey soft ass. Like, what do you mean we're good? He killed your girlfriend, girl. Like, ain't no good, bitch. It's like, it would be very much A-Train. You will do favors for me until the day I die. Like, and maybe I'll decide if we're maybe kind of good, which we won't ever fully be, bitch. Get the fuck out of my face, girl. Anyway, gunshots ring out, forcing Kimiko and Huey to start running. Of course, Huey's annoying ass trips and messes up his ankle. Like, oh my God. Can you imagine having to go on like a very dire mission and you spin the bottle and it lands on Huey? Can you imagine like some like dire multiple worlds, multiple planets ending kind of like mission, like we have to complete it or else that would happen? Like, can you imagine having to take Huey's annoying ass on the mission? Oh my God, get up, bro. So when they're in the room, Kimiko tells him the people, you know, are from her past. The people coming after them are from her past. Shining Light, it's an organization. I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but it's an organization known for kidnapping kids and forcing them to fight as child soldiers. So we're going to see more of this story unfold. But Kimiko sets him up to fight since he can't move. And in my head, I was just like, boy, your chances are looking really slim, my boy. Like, they looking really slim right now. So here Butcher asks MM to get Ryan away from Homelander if Butcher can't do it himself before he dies. Bro, what? Bro, what? Take the angry, superpowered kid away from the angry, superpowered dad and raise him? You had your shot at that and you blew it, bro. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Sounds like he would actually reluctantly try to do it though, but if it was me, I would have been like, Butcher, these your last days, bro. You gonna have to sacrifice yourself to try and do that shit. Please get the fuck out my face, bro. What you mean? You told this kid that after he accidentally killed his mom to go F himself? Like, girl, I don't know what you want me to do, Butcher, but you need to go fix the issues, girl. And the thing is that Butcher ass ain't even gonna be here when, you know, Omni-Man and Invincible, when Ryan and Homelander take over the planet, because his ass gonna die in 6 months. So you done fucked it up so bad, you ain't gonna be here to experience that shit. Bro, you do that shit. You go pull Ryan away from Homelander, girl. That's gonna be your last feat. That's gonna be the last thing you ever do, bro. Get out my face. Butcher is annoying. I don't care what y'all talking about. I cannot stand his ass. So then Butcher tells Firecracker, hey, we're gonna tell the world that you were messing with a 15-year-old when you were 28. And of course, typical, you know, very much how the super conservatives be pointing their fingers. Meanwhile, all the youth pastors that they endorse are taking advantage of kids. So it's just like, yeah, you know, of course, Firecracker is what she's pointing at. Like, of course she is. But the thing is, she gagged them both and she was just like, girl, guess what? Go ahead and tell them. Matter of fact, I'll do it myself. She posted the tweet herself. And then she went on her show and tried to switch the narrative and do damage control. Keep in mind, her whole shtick is coming after Starlight because, you know, Starlight's this alleged danger to kids. But Firecracker is able to get up on her show, admit what she did, right? And then get cheers and standing ovations. All she had to do is sprinkle little Jesus on it. That's all you need. That's all evangelical shit. That's all you need to have them eating out of your hands. A little epic fantasy novel, have, you know, say Jesus 3 times, and you can literally get away with anything. And that's why I like watching the show, because it's like, this is exactly how y'all sound. Like, this is exactly how these people sound when they let their white Jesus, when they let their Sky Daddy, their imaginary friend, talk about, oh, well, you know, what did Firecracker say? Oh, well, this young man led me to giving my life to God. So it's just like they find any kind of way to twist it. As long as you put Jesus on it, it's fine. Because think of like Medea, think of Tyler Perry, right? Like, a lot of these homophobic church folks would never tolerate a man in a wig, never tolerate seeing a man walk around in a wig and a dress unless you put some Jesus in it, which is exactly what Tyler Perry did. He did it on stage and they were getting there live. So it's like, I wouldn't call it drag, but it's like close to drag, you know? So to see them damn near put it in their churches, but then have a problem with actual drag, the dissonance be so interesting. But all you have to do is put Jesus on it and it's okay with them. It's okay with them. So what Firecracker did here reminded me of what Trump said. He said, I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters. And I hate to say this, but he's definitely right. That's the type of demographic that will eat anything up if Firecracker knows it and she's using it. And then to distract from all that, Firecracker talks about how Starlight blinded somebody during her first save. And of course that was very uncomfortable for Starlight to relive, because she was like, girl, I did not know how to control my powers. I was just, you know. So Firecracker just completely sidestepped that shit, right? That Butcher and them tried to do, because of the audience that she is speaking to, essentially. And then we have A-Train in Homelander's apartment. Oh my God, I was like, this boy gonna die. I was like, this boy gon' die. But then he found the V that he needed. And then I heard this voice saying A-Train, and it didn't sound like Homelander. So I was like, what the hell? What's going on? It's Ashley. Ashley gonna say, A-Train, what the hell are you doing here? But then A-Train and I said at the same time, but wait, Ashley, what the hell are you doing here? We find out that she left some shit in Homelander's toilet. And I don't know why Ashley is playing with Homelander like that. Trust me, I would not be doing that at all. Because if Homelander could smell Huey's sweat drop on him, if Homelander could smell that, I don't put it too far past Homelander to try and sniff out some shit too. Like, I wouldn't even leave a strand of hair in Homelander's apartment, bro. Like, I'm so serious. But basically, both Ashley and A-Train got to protect each other's little secret now. So I wonder what's gonna come of that. Because we already know Ashley's like trying to leave this place, but she knows she can't. So I just want, and A-Train is definitely turning too. So I just want to know what's going on with that. Now we know why Marty's ass was louder than the others about trying to prevent Frank from being cooked like, he was at a Jamaican fish fry. It's because Marty's ass was doing some grimy shit himself, and he knew that his time was coming. That's really the tea. Once Homelander said Marty used to call him Squirt, I already knew what it was at this point. Like, I already knew what it was. Homelander said the only time I ever felt good down here was when I had a couple of minutes to myself without surveillance, so I could, do what boys do, jack off, whatever. And I couldn't even have that because you were peeping at my underage ass. He told him to sit right there. He told Marty to sit right. When I tell you I was gagged, sit right there and jerk off, girl, and we'll all watch and we'll laugh at you. Oh, and by the way, if you can't get it up, I'm lasering that thing off. I was like, yo, he is not, none of y'all are leaving here today. That's why I was like, none of y'all are leaving here today. Homelander's out for it. And he's not just gonna, that's the thing about writing people who have a lot of powers, is that, of course, it's the personality takes over. Of course, he could have just walked in there and lasered them all, but it's that personality of like, bitch, I want you to suffer just as much as I did. So this, what's his name? Marty, gonna try and really do what Homelander say. Like, bro, you really trying to be off for real? Like, just pretend to be off. Just pretend to beat off and then wait for him to laser your shit off. Like, do you really think you're going to get hard right now? Do you really think you can get hard right now? Girl, he zapped that thing. Do you hear me? And I thought he was just going to laser it off. No, he lasered straight through. And like, when I think about that, I think about like, Homelander lasered straight through his shit. Like, it would mean that bones, like your pelvis is bones in your pelvis are disintegrating and disconnecting. Like, that was terrible. And then he smashed on his face when Barbara walked in. Oh my God, smashed his head in. So, like I said, Barbara comes in, and I feel like this is the closest that Homelander might have had to like an actual parent, and it's not close at all, but you know what I mean? Like, it's the closest that he had. And I think that this is kind of why he allows her to call him John when the others could not do that, right? When he was just so adamant about Marty not doing that, nobody else doing that. So I think it represents a level of closeness, is a weird word, but you know what I mean? Familiarity or whatever. I can never pronounce that damn word. But you know what I mean, with the abuse that clearly Homelander was taking. So we're gonna get back to that in a minute. Kimiko got blasted by the people who were after her, and they turned her into ribbons. I'm talking about like body in half. Okay, body split in half. And I'm not gonna lie, real quick side note, sometimes when Kimiko dies or gets hurt really badly, I think of that one horribly treated character in Young Justice, which was clearly a diversity brownie point checklist instead of an actually fully fleshed out character that is a minority, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I think that there's a difference between a diversity brownie points checklist character versus a minority character that's fully fleshed out and fully human. But okay, this video ain't about Young Justice. Let me get back to it. So Huey actually puts up a fight here. I was like, oh, okay, you can do something sometimes. All right. Great. Wish you could do it more often. We find out that Kimiko threw Miss Mama's hair in a trunk, gave this girl these scars that she has, forced her to fight with no mercy. So she's come for revenge. This definitely will not be the last time we see her, because I think she pops up in future episodes. Okay, here. So many things are happening by this point. Frenchie gets into Marjorie Taylor Greene's trailer, but then gets incapacitated by that damn pastor, whoever. But most important part here is that Firecracker outs Starlight, tells the world that she has had an abortion. Now to me, it's such a perfect scene because we experience this shit in real life every day. Like real life assaulters, abusers, rapists, and pedos will really try to dunk on someone for doing something like having an abortion or being gay or being black. And their audiences, though, will eat it up. Their audiences eat it up every time. So yeah, Firecracker just told the entire world what the tea was, and Starlight could take it no longer. Like, she's just been getting dragged over and over and over again. Like, she went over there and beat. do you hear what I'm saying to you? She went over there and beat Firecracker ass, bitch, and I was cheering her on the whole goddamn time. Beat that ass. If I was Starlight, I would know while walking over there that I'm playing right into Firecracker's hands. This is what she wants to happen, but bitch, is what I want to happen too, bitch. I'm going to beat that ass. And that's just it. And that's just it, girl. That's just it. I would know this is exactly what Firecracker wants. I would know that's why she set her shit up right outside my house. Not house, the Starlight house, you know what I mean? I would know this is exactly the reaction that she wants. But let me tell you something, girl. You're gonna get it, babes. When you pour that baking soda and that vinegar, girl, I'm going to beat your ass. Oh my God. It's just such a violation. And honestly, it felt so cathartic because that is the type of shit I be wanting to do to these assholes in real life. Like, every time I hear their hateful ass, bigoted, racist, homophobic, transphobic messaging, I'm just like, y'all, this is exactly what I want to do. And to be honest, that's what it's going to come to. Like, girl, anyway, let me not do that. But yeah, Firecracker got her entire wig completely rocked. And she deserved it. I don't care what nobody's saying. I wish Starlight got a few more whacks in on that ass. Cause her silly ass, Firecracker silly ass, gonna be on TV next day, you know, smirking and sobbing, in between smirking and sobbing. And I would just be like, you need to make sure that Starlight, you need to make sure she can't make no face at all. You're just stoic. Stoic. Sage said, how's that for uppity, Cracker? I mean, Sage took the fire out of that Firecracker. Do you know what I'm saying? Ain't no fire in them. I rubbed my feet on the carpet, static shock sparks that you be letting out, girl. It's just Cracker. That's it. Ain't no fire. It's just Cracker. Then she says, first pebble down a mountain. Yeah, I already told you. Sage got plans. Sage got plans. So MM is gonna come over here and stop Starlight from offing Marjorie, because that's, I mean, at this point, that's what the fuck was gonna happen. Like I said, all the cameras were watching. This is exactly what Firecracker wanted. But like I said, also, I'm gonna give you what you want sometimes. Sometimes I won't give you what you want, but sometimes I might choose to clock in and just give you what you fully deserve, bitch. It might not be all the time, but sometimes you will see the fullness of me clock in just like Starlight and beat that. Like, I promise you. Oh my God, it was so beautiful to watch. I loved every minute of it. I will rewatch it again. Like the Girls Get It Done scene. I'll rewatch that shit again. Oh, she deserved that shit. Now, Butcher was about to be choked out here, but then he blacked out and then woke up having no idea how he pummeled this guy. Like, absolutely tore him up. Absolutely tore him up. So maybe that will be like an offset. Like, yes, you're gonna die. Yes, this thing is messing up your body, but at least you'll be able to black out once in a while and give us a Deus Ex Machina or whatever. You know, that would be the offset for having to deal with this terminal illness. So we'll see. Or it could be something else wild that he has clearly has absolutely no control of it right now, but maybe he won't learn control of it in the future either, because we all know how this V shit goes. So Homelander's here talking to Barbara, and Barbara gonna say, well, you know, the employees were just following orders because they were scared. You floated out of the womb, lasering, you know, the woman open, lasering her open. You killed doctors and nurses, so of course people were scared. But in my head, I'm like, okay, y'all created Homelander in the first place. Like, y'all created this. Second thing is, okay, y'all don't have the cognition to think like, okay, well, this is clearly a baby who isn't in control of his powers and he has no idea what's going on. Like I said, y'all made him. So now y'all burning this child alive, sexually violating him, probing him, and torturing him because y'all are scared of something y'all unleashed upon the world. And it's not even like this is a grown man is bad and bad enough, but like it's a child, it's a babe, it's a child. Like, I'm sorry, but that's not an excuse. So just like Homelander definitely needs to be held responsible, accountable for the many lives that he ended and the people that he tortured, y'all need to be held accountable for what you did to Homelander, period. Like, that's just it. Because without y'all, this version of Homelander would not have been unleashed upon the world. Barbara said, "You could have gotten out at any point. We couldn't have stopped you. But you couldn't stand the idea that we would be disappointed in you. So they mentally, groomed him that way, had the best psychologists to warp him that way." She was like, "You want people to love you." And she's counting on this. Like, oh, you want people to love you. Even when she first walked in the room, it was almost this air of, let me see if I can, because I was the closest to him. So let me see if I can kind of control him like I used to do, right? But he came here to undo all of this. Like, he came here purposefully to face this and to set himself, quote unquote, free. Like, I don't see how she didn't get that, but I mean, she got it by the end of this scene. Now, Frenchie got his ass beat by Colin, and I'm just like, he's lucky he ain't die. I mean, there's not much more to say about this scene. Like, bro, I've ghosted niggas for much less, Frenchie. Frenchie, if I killed some niggas' family and they hit, and this nigga hit me up on Grindr or Jack to sniffy something, I'm going the other way. I'm ghosting. What did you think would happen? This shit, Frenchie, it should have been a swift block and a swift, I don't know, F you, I don't want to see you type shit, like push him away. It should have been something, girl. You got your ass beat, but I figure you probably want your ass beat, to be honest. I understand. But child, like, I don't know where you thought this was going. Okay, so I barely watched this scene, and even during the rewatch, I couldn't really watch it for real. Like, wow, we find out that Sis lobotomizes herself to get a break from her brain, and that makes sense because if I be wanting breaks from my brain, and it ain't no soup brain, I can only imagine what, like, souped up, like, genius, always growing. She says her brain is always regenerating. Like, I can only imagine how crazy that would make you feel, right? So the Deep lobotomizes her, and it was just the most disgusting thing ever. Like, the most disgusting thing ever. And like, to trust the Deep not to blind you is just like, girl, I could tell you was desperate for that shit. I mean, if you sticking something through your eye into your brain, like, it has to be absolutely debilitating for you to be doing that shit. So the Deep does it. And yeah, I thought that stick was going in her nose or something, but like I said, that shit went in her eye. That's why I was like, oh my God, I can't even I'm not even putting that shit on the screen, bro. Like, I'm not doing that shit. Like, I've watched peens explode on the boys, but for some reason, this one was just like, oh my God, it's just really bad. And then of course they get down with the get down. And I'm just like, damn, Deep, you don't feel any kind of way that the only time she wants to mess around is when she scrubs some of the brains out of her, like, herself. Like, you don't feel that type of way? No, he don't care. He's just like, whatever I can get. I'm just like, the Deep is so weird. So Starlight is losing, of course, all kind of support in politics, for the bill, whatever. I would have been like, y'all can SMD, bro. Like, I wouldn't give a damn at that point. Starlight's mom apparently won't return her calls because Starlight had an abortion. And I'd be like, girl, did your old ass want to carry this baby to term and gave birth to yourself? Since you was that pressed about it, bitch? Not answer my calls, because I had crazy when people do that. Like, I'm the one who actually went through the decision making of this and the scary physical process and pain of all this shit. And you think I'm gonna give a damn about you being mad about this shit? Girl, move. So A-Train meets Huey here, gives him the V and says, it's bullshit, right? You're not gonna forgive me. Huey said that he was gonna tell him to go F himself, which he should have, in my opinion, but he says we're good instead. And I would have been like, nah, we ain't good, but whenever I need something, make sure you deliver it to me, and maybe we can talk after 80 years and see where we at, if I'm still alive or not, whatever. But this shit, Huey is just like, oh my God, he'd be annoying to look at sometimes. Butcher then shows up, tells him that even if you give your dad V, that shit probably ain't gonna work. Huey seems like he's gonna do it anyway, but then he doesn't. Now, his mama so clearly knew that he had that V in his jacket. Like, she was looking all in his jacket, like all at his jacket and shit, watching it. And I think this part is where, when she goes to hug him and he backs off, is when she took it out. Like, when she goes to hug him, she took it out. And to me, this woman is not reacting like someone would react if someone they knew was dying. Like, I mean, and we, much less your fucking ex, bro. Like, you know what I mean? That you have a kid with. She's not even, I understand if you and your ex had, but it had like this really terrible falling out. But if you did, you wouldn't be sitting here at this hospital bed like this. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, and then you got a kid here, it just didn't seem, she didn't even act like her goldfish was dying. You see what I'm saying? Like, I didn't see sadness, a hint of sadness nowhere, girl. Not even when she was addressing her, not even when she was addressing Huey being mad at her for leaving. It didn't even seem like you do see what I'm saying? But whatever, she definitely put that V in his veins, in my opinion. And his dad opened up his eyes, girl. I'm like, I don't know what we're about to see after this. What is going on with Huey mama? Like, y'all have something is wrong. I don't know. She come off really weird, obviously, because she put that shit in there, but she come off really weird to me. So we find out that Homelander left Barbara in there to rot with all them dead bodies, and he did say that he would show her why he called it the bad room. So all of them are in there sprawled out, and she just gonna be there to rot. How terrible. So this shit here is so crazy because to me it signifies how free Homelander feels. Like, the fact that he's really trying to do away with his need for love, his need for affection, his need for worship, need to be liked, means that he will be much harder to stop if he's actually successful at tearing that piece of himself out of himself. Like, he will be terrifying because there's that leash to control him that, you know, kind of worked sometimes. He's trying to sever that. So it's just going to mean more mayhem, disaster, chaos, death, and blood for all the characters that we love in this story. And of course, that means that I'm going to continue to watch. Now, like I said, like I told y'all, I'm not so sure about how consistent I will be with The Boys reviews, but just because I want to keep Houses of Dragon and Interview with the Vampire going steady. So it just really depends on how this one does and how y'all react to it, if y'all like it. And it depends on the rest of the episodes too, because episodes 1 through 3, I was like, okay, that's fun, that was cool. But 4 was the one I was like, okay, bitch, I'll definitely talk about this one. So like, it just depends on all of those factors. But yeah, thank y'all so much for watching, and I will catch y'all later. Peace. All right, y'all, make sure that you're going to www.zeraxia.com. When you join the wait list there on the site, you will be the first to be notified when I drop my sequel. Also, you'll immediately get chapter 1 of my upcoming sequel of the upcoming book sent to your email as a PDF. So check that out. Also, this is a different excerpt from my upcoming book, so you definitely want to pause to read if you're trying to get your life. Keep in mind that this upcoming book, the sequel, is following up the first book that is already released called Zeraxia, Wrath of the God King. I released it a few years ago. It was my introduction to writing fantasy and stuff, so just go easy on me. But either way, as you can see here, it's given 4.9 stars. It's given 4.9 stars. So yeah, check out Zeraxia, Wrath of the God King while you wait for Zeraxia, The Vengeance of Coldwind, right? And go to Zeraxia.com, sign up, join the wait list, get your free chapter. Thank you so much.